Hello and welcome. My name is Elise, and in this video we will be exploring my top picks for academic readings on the subject of Islamophobia. Over the course of this video, I will lead you through a brief analysis of each reading and explain why I selected them. At the end, I will also include supplementary books and articles that I believe could be beneficial. All articles will be linked in the description box down below. Our first reading is Islamophobia Never Stands Still, Race, Religion, and Culture by Raymond Terrace. A great introductory reading, this article covers the history behind Islamophobia and the ways it has evolved over the years into the form it has today. Covering everything from evolution of the term itself to the links to anti-Semitism, Terrace delves in depth on the subject. Written in an easy-to-understand way, I love how this article takes a concept that is very complex and breaks it down into easily understandable pieces. Even someone who knows nothing about Islamophobia will come away from this article with a good understanding on the subject. Our second reading is Coping with Islamophobia, The Effects of Religious Stigma on Muslim Minorities' Identity Formation by Jonas R. Kunsta, Hajra Tajamal, David L. Sam, and Paul Uhlenberg. Similar to the Alvarez and Helms reading on Asian Americans' racial adjustment, this reading analyzes how religious stigma impacts the identity formation of Muslim minorities, with a specific focus on Muslims in Norway and Germany. I liked how this article focused on the often neglected realm of the mental health consequences of being stigmatized. In clear and easy-to-understand words, this reading breaks down the ways that Islamophobia impacts Muslims in their day-to-day lives. The third reading is Soft Islamophobia by Namira Islam. In this article, Islam takes a stance against what she calls soft Islamophobia, or Islamophobia that is perpetuated by people who would call themselves liberal allies. The author covers three main issues with how these well-intentioned allies address Islamophobia. First, there is a lack of structural analysis around anti-Muslim hate. Second is the framing of Muslim as a cultural or ethnic signifier, rather than what it really is, which is a faith group. Lastly, there is the discomfort of Islam as a faith, and the erasure of Islam as a religion due to the allies' discomfort with certain aspects or perceived aspects of the religion. I really love this article for two reasons. One is that it draws from a large variety of resources, not just other academic papers, making it very relevant to the real world, for me at least. Secondly, is that it addresses something many people, even those who support Muslims, don't want to address. It shows how we can all do better, even if we think we are already doing all we can. The fourth reading is Islamophobia and Public Health in the United States by Gulin Samari. Here, Samari looks at how Islamophobia impacts physical health. From the impacts of stigma-related stress on the body to the struggle to connect with their healthcare provider, Samari shows that something as amorphous sounding as Islamophobia can and does have physical consequences. This article reminds me of another article I read in the past, focusing on the impact of anti-Black racism on the Black community. I find such articles to be so important because the idea that discrimination does not impact people if it's only verbal is wrong. Words hurt, and they can cause physical harm on the body. For my fifth pick, I selected Islamophobia, Feminism, and the Politics of Critique by Rochelle Turman. This reading analyzes a seemingly age-old question: how can we, as feminists, critique the treatment of women in Muslim contexts without providing fuel for Islamophobes? Turman thoughtfully and thoroughly tackles this complex question, covering all possible sides. I really enjoyed this reading because I myself have struggled with denouncing certain behaviors without stereotyping the Muslim faith. Any person who wants to call themselves a feminist would do well to read this paper. Finally, the sixth reading is Articulations of Islamophobia, From the Extreme to the Mainstream by Aurélien Mondon and Aaron Winter. This article analyzes the ever-shifting faces of Islamophobia and the challenges we all face when trying to address these different forms of the same stigma. I feel like this article combines some of my favorite aspects of the other readings into one paper, namely liberal Islamophobia and the conflicts between feminism and supporting Islam, making this one of my top picks for educational readings on the topic of Islamophobia. Beyond these readings, there are plenty more to be found. 5 additional great readings that didn't quite make the cut are Islamophobia pre- and post-September 11th, 2001 by Lorraine P. Sheridan, Gendering Islamophobia to Better Understand Immigration Laws by Catherine Dauvergne, Islamophobia by Miriam F. Ellman, Feminisms, Islamophobia, and Identities by Haleh Afshar, Rob Aitken, and Mifanwi Franks, and Islamophobia by Altaf Hussein. For books, I recommend Islamophobia, Victimization in the Veil by Irene Zempi and Neil Chakraborty, Islamophobia and Racism in America by Eric Love, Islamophobia in America, The Anatomy of Intolerance, edited by Carl W. Ernst, and Islamophobia in the West, Measuring and Explaining Individual Attitudes, edited by Mark Helbling. Finally, for online articles, I enjoyed Islamophobia Exists in Canada, We Must Recognize It by Hassan Yusuf, We Need to Understand What Islamophobia Really Means by Terry Gavin, Explainer, Why Do Muslim Women Wear a Burqa, Niqab, or Hijab by James Vivner, and 4 Muslim Women Reveal Why They Choose to Wear or Not to Wear the Hijab in Today's Society by Bianca London. You can find other relevant articles on some of these websites, and they're all worth reading. Thank you for listening to my top picks for classroom readings on the subject of Islamophobia. Check the description box down below for links to the main 6 articles discussed in this video. Happy learning!